North America is often the butt of jokes and memes everywhere. North America has no talent. North American solo queue players are a waste of time. North America has no good top laners. They always need to pick up Korean players. That's the gist of things. People don't believe in looking for top talent in NA Challenger. That is, until they hear about Niles.
The shield pucks again. Niles, look at the arrow! Massive outplay!
Maryville showing what Niles can do in that time.
Niles!
That's exactly what they need.
But everyone's gonna dive in there. Niles, he's gonna try and save his struggler and get the kill.
My name is Aiden Tidwell. I go by Niles in game. I'm a Challenger top laner from Maryville University.
Hey guys, it's Zyrene here from ProGuides. In today's NA Scouts video, we'll be introducing Maryville University's top laner and North America's next prodigy, Niles. Niles hails from Dayton, Ohio, and while he currently focuses on esports, he was previously a traditional sports athlete before injuring his knee.
I think people say that I'm the next Licorice because I'm homegrown talent in NA, and the way I play top lane is very tough to play against. I play a very high pressure role.
Niles is more than just hype too. Niles won the 2009 championship with Maryville University, besting Western University in the finals. He even had the opportunity to compete in the 2019 League of Legends International College Cup in Hong Kong, following Maryville's collegiate victory, where they eventually placed second. Niles even has a bit of professional experience under his belt, having scrimmed with Team Solo Mid in China when Broken Blade had visa issues. Niles is a collegiate beast and no one can deny it. Today we'll be doing a VOD review of one of his games in solo queue and interviewing him for some quick tips later on. To quickly talk about the runes of Irelia, you want to run them like this. You want to run Conqueror because she stacks it quickly with all her abilities, especially because auto attack provide 2 stacks and her Q counts as an auto attack reset. You want to run Triumph because in the middle of random fights, you get large amounts of HP and continue to regen with Conqueror. Niles runs Bloodline on Irelia because it matches up really well with Irelia's Blade Surge. Alacrity is a valid choice, but Bloodline is better in the long run, and Lifesteal is worth more than attack speed as the game goes on. You build a lot of attack speed on Irelia anyways, so it's nice to have that 10% bonus lifesteal. Niles also prefers Last Stand because Irelia often dives in and starts fights. Last Stand is really helpful because in the time it takes to stack Conqueror, you'll already be in the HP range for Last Stand and dealing maximum damage. In your secondary runes, you want to run Biscuit Delivery. It does a lot for sustain in the laning phase. Most importantly, you also want to run Time Warp Tonic, because level 1, you want to start Corrupting Potion. It provides sustain, damage, and it stacks well with Time Warp Tonic. This also has extra synergy with Biscuit Delivery. When it comes to item builds, Trinity Force is very popular on Irelia, but in the current meta, you always want to build Blade of the Ruined King first. It gives you the ability to stick on people while also providing every stat that Irelia dreams of. It gives you that early pressure to just kill someone. If you're against a bunch of squishy champions, you want to follow that up with the traditional Trinity Force, but from there, you look for Steric's Gauge and then more situational items. Those 3 items make up the standard Irelia core that everyone prioritizes and knows about. Recently though, there has been a spicy build going around where people build Black Cleaver as their second item against tankier compositions. Black Cleaver is very similar to Trinity Force in the fact that it gives you 20% CDR and bonus movement speed when auto-attacking. Differently though, it offers Armor Shred against tanky champions like Ornn, who traditionally goes for Bramble Vest and Ninja Tabi. Combined with Blade of the Ruined King, you're double shredding the Ornn for a lot more damage. Now you might think to build Steric's Gauge because it's generally great synergy with Irelia and her standard runes, but that's not the case. You go for Wit's End, an item that allows you to deal bonus magic damage while itemizing magic resistance. Against tanks, this gives you an excellently mixed damage profile to shred them in 1v1 situations. In this case for Niles, against the Blitzcrank and Vel'Koz. Right as Niles gets into lane, there's a key moment where Niles immediately auto-attacks the middle caster minion. It's very common for Irelia players to stack their passive early, and getting this minion low allows him to do that later on in the laning phase, easily stacking up his passive for an early all-in. Here, Niles begins to stack his passive, with an auto-attack and a Blade Surge, effectively zoning the Ornn before Blade Surging to the minion that he initially auto-attacked. He Blade Surges to another minion, and Ornn finally realizes that Niles is waiting for the final minion to die. And after Blade Surging to that one, he finally has the 5 stacks of Ionian Fervor, instantly jumping on Ornn. He auto-attacks twice before taking damage from Ornn, and then immediately uses his Corrupting Potion after to heal the damage and deal bonus damage for maximum efficiency. Niles is fighting through minions here because he builds up his Conqueror and is doing an obscene amount of damage that Ornn just can't match early game. Sure, he's breaking the fundamentals of League here, but that's only because Niles knows just how much he can abuse this power at level 1. This is a very common tactic for Irelia early on in the game. In another key play from Niles, he has just died from being ganked after pressuring the Ornn early on. Prior to this play, Niles and Trundle succeeded in knocking down the Ornn for a kill, but Niles got a little greedy keeping the pressure on after Trundle rotated to the bottom side of the map. Still though, Niles is able to make some magic happen after a small mistake, which is the hallmark of a great player. Now Niles is teleporting in the middle of a big wave, 1v2 after dying. This man has nerves of steel. Most players would resign themselves to the tower and passive play after making a mistake, but not this man. He is ready to go in. Right when he teleports in, he immediately Blade Surges to 2 minions to stack up Ionian Fervor and get on the Ornn with another Blade Surge and stun, eventually chasing down the kill with his flash. Pantheon is unable to answer afterwards because Niles has fully built up Ionian Fervor and Conqueror, effectively taking back momentum after his initial mistake. Niles has just finished pushing out bot lane to give his team pressure to make a play, but unfortunately, they were caught out instead, giving up the Infernal Drake and mid tower. Despite that, Niles has his eye on a big play that changes the landscape of the game. Vel'Koz overstays to push mid lane after the play, and Niles immediately recognizes this opportunity, teleporting to a stealth ward and using his home guard movement speed to chase down Vel'Koz. Notice how he Blade Surges onto the ranged minion and sets up his stun to Blade Surge immediately, dodging Vel'Koz's crowd control and closing the distance in the blink of an eye. Niles takes a huge shutdown, and red team has a huge numbers and vision advantage around the Baron pit. Niles' itemization of Blade of the Ruined King along with the Varus Blight stacks means that they can take the Baron quickly. This forces blue team to push into the river and Baron pit in a disadvantageous situation because they don't have any vision established and are still resetting from the earlier plays around Dragon and mid lane. This gives Niles and his team the option to take a 5v4 fight when the enemy floods in while they're doing Baron. Eventually his team takes a free pick onto an overextended Blitzcrank, but Niles goes for a more aggressive play, landing a stun onto Ornn and immediately Blade Surging onto him to close the distance for a 3-man ultimate. Niles has immediately stacked his Ionian Fervor passive and jumps onto Pantheon and Misfortune, effectively winning the 1v3 fight with his high damage output. Pantheon eventually tries to steal the Baron, but Niles has effectively zoned him out, and all of a sudden, the red team is back in full control. Niles' team made a grave mistake around mid lane, but he immediately propelled his team to a strong position with an intelligent teleport and pick play. It wasn't exactly a textbook play, but Niles' aggression and willingness to capitalize on mistakes paid off heavily in this game. You've seen the man in action. We had to reach out to him for a few questions just to give you guys a better picture of this legend in the making. What are North American top laners lacking that you notice while watching LCS and Academy games?
So some of the things that I think top laners in North America are lacking is early game aggression and snowballing your lead super early. I think they play the laning phase way too respectfully and don't punish as many mistakes as they can early game, especially. Top lane is all about punishing mistakes in the 1v1. And whenever I watch games, I get frustrated because I feel like they don't punish as many mistakes as they can.
Do you have any advice for anyone trying to climb solo queue by playing top lane?
So if you're playing solo queue, top lane, and you're trying to climb, the most important thing is that you play selfishly. Selfishly means taking as many resources as possible and not worrying too much about your team. You are the 1v9er on your team if you're going to climb, and don't try and help them too much if it's at the sacrifice of yourself. That's my advice for anyone trying to climb in solo queue playing top lane.
How do you feel the strength of the Collegiate League compares to the strength of the LCS Academy League?
So the Collegiate League is very diverse and has a lot more teams than the Academy League. So if you're just talking about the top 3 collegiate teams at any given time, they can definitely beat the bottom of the Academy League. So I would view Collegiate as a tier 3 below LCS and Academy, where the top collegiate teams can beat the bottom Academy teams.
Do you think that North American players looking to improve should boot camp in Korea?
I think that if you are at the very, very top of the North American ladder, maybe top 25 or so, and you're a solo queue player, and you really want to up your game, you should go to Korea. But the vast majority of players will get nothing in Korea that they can't get in North America. The best thing to do to improve is just to review your own VODs and think critically about the mistakes you're making and see how you can fix them going into the next game.
Following the recent discussion of North American solo queue being horrible, what do you think about the topic? And do you have any suggestions for improvements?
When people say that NA solo queue is so horrible, I think a lot of the times they're talking about people who are griefing, giving up in matches, AFKing, and that sort of stuff. Every region will have toxic typing, but I think the NA solo queue has more griefers and AFKer types. I think that's definitely a problem, and an improvement that I would suggest is to give more power to people in the community, well-respected figures, to have the ability to issue punishments along with the rioters. I think that if you entrust that power into community figures that are well-respected by everyone, that there will be a lot more people who are banned quicker, resulting in an improvement in the solo queue environment.
Lastly, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/NilesTop, where I stream challenger gameplay and offer coaching to all ELOs.
Hey guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. If you guys want more content to help you improve, check out ProGuides.com, where we've teamed up with pro players to create guides designed to take your game to the next level. And for our question of the day, I don't think I forgot about it. Who would you like to see be up next in our NA talent interviews? Leave your answers in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.